welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyan and this is Kyan is Booked, and welcome to the first Trope Tuesday of vlogtober 2024. We're going to be discussing Romantasy books. I almost didn't make this video because there have been so many recommendations coming out for Romantasy. I love to see it because I love that it is so popular because I've been so in the mood for it. However, it makes it hard to do rec videos because you don't want to keep like recommending the same ones over and over and over and over again. But the internet's like a super like vast place, and I'm thinking if you recommend books a couple of times, like, you know, it'll find its audience. So I'm hoping this video finds an audience of people who are looking for something other than like Fourth Wing, ACOTAR, JLA, like, you know, the standard ones, because I don't have any of those on this list that we're going to be going through today. I have read all of these books in 2024, so I don't want to say they're super fresh in my mind because one of these I read like literally the first week of this year. However, these are newish releases, and I'm going to start off with the 3 series that are complete and then talk to you guys about the other series. Also, too, I want these to kind of be like little snippets and not necessarily like run-ons about the series. So I'm going to try really hard to do like 2-minute synopsis. This is why you should read it. So like this is like kind of more of a concise video because some of these are going to be featured in series Saturdays that I'm doing during Vlogtober. So you could definitely come back and get way more information about them then. So to start off with, Vicious Bonds by Shinora Williams. So this is enemies to lovers. This is, what do you call it? He is, I want to say a prince like of his time, and he lives in one realm, she lives in another, soulmates, etc., etc. So you're probably like, what are you talking about, girl? So it starts off with them being able to like hear each other's thoughts, right? And both of them are like, wow, I'm going insane because I shouldn't be able to hear some like random voice in my head, right? And then all of a sudden she literally physically drops into his world and he's like, and who are you, right? And Kaz is like, this is Kaz, and he's our male main character, and he is like super broody, standoffish, like, I really don't have time for a relationship because I'm the, it's a manor, no, it's of Blackwater, so that's the town, and he's the one responsible for the town, and he's like, I'm dealing with riffraff over here, I'm trying to take over this over here, and like, I can hear your voice and I don't know why and I don't trust you. And she's like, well, I don't want to be here anyways. Like, I don't know who you think I am. I'm from Earth. I want to go back, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't even know why you can hear my thoughts, right? So we start off on this like really intense, like enemies to lovers type situation, right? And then we slowly start to realize that like, could we be soulmates or nah, right? And then of course it explodes into this like much larger, like much like bigger picture of like who they are to the course of the world and what their bond is with each other versus how they begin, right? And like they really do build this like really beautiful relationship, and there's not anything that Kaz won't do for Willow at a certain point, but like you definitely have to kind of go through angsty Kaz first. This is a trilogy. It is completed. One of my favorite Romantasy trilogies or Romantasy series that I've read this year. I absolutely love Kaz because once we get past that like really hard exterior, we realize that like he's ready to burn down the world for this woman, and we love a man who's trash for his woman. So that's Vicious Bonds. My gosh, next up, so if you've been following me, you know that I'm obsessed with the Legends of Thesmar series. So this is the first book. It's Blood and Steel. This is the completed series. It is also on KU. Vicious Bonds is on KU. Sorry, the Tether trilogy, starting with Vicious Bonds, is also on KU. But this is Blood and Steel. It's the Legends of Thesmar series by Helen Schuer. This follows Thea, and in a land where women aren't allowed to carry blades anymore, because it's prophesized that like a woman's gonna destroy the world. In a land where like you can't carry blades and they cannot become warriors, like Thea dreams about being able to grow up and be a warzord, which is like the top warrior of their realm, right? So there's a barrier in between them and like the next realm, and these creatures are coming through, and these creatures are like killing their people and like taking over what do you call it, taking over parts of the kingdom, and it's become this like very corrupt place. And Thea is absolutely 1000% determined to become a warrior in her own right, right? And then you have Wilder Hawthorne Wilder. And if that man has no fans, he's got me, okay? Okay, calm down. I love this man. So he is a war sword, and there's 3 of them left, like actively left, and they know that they're about to have to fight very intensely against these things happening in the realm, right? So they're like, we need more warriors. So they come back to the school where Thea is an alchemist, and she's desperate to become a warrior. And by twist of fate, she ends up in the warrior program, and then she ends up as his mentee, right? But we're also battling a really intense enemies to lovers situation. We're battling Forbidden because like they're not supposed to be together. We're battling the fact that like she's prophesized to die within a couple of years, which is not a secret before like anybody like tries to come for me. And the fact that he's broody and possessive and bossy and like doesn't think that she can do it, but secretly does think she can do it. And they just rub each other the wrong way, and there's just so much angst and tension between them, and it's beautiful, and it's a wonderful story of how these 2 people come together. It's a 4-book series. It's completed. I am obsessed with them, and this is Bookish and Spices special edition. They're actually about to do the 2nd through the 4th book, so like I can't wait to get them because it's a stunning edition. And my final completed series I'm going to be talking to you guys about is the Stars and Shadows series by Holly Renee. So I have the special edition because I saw her at the Sweetgrass signing. I think that was like all the way back in March, which is crazy to think about. She's a wonderful human being. She was so sweet. So this follows Adara and Everin, and she is betrothed to his brother, who is the prince of the realm, the heir prince. And then he is, Everin is the enforcer for his brother, also the prince of the realm, but he's not the heir. And so she's betrothed to his brother, and he comes to take her, to bring her to the kingdom. And there is this like massive, like forbidden tension between the 2 of them, and like how they feel for each other. And she knows that it's wrong, and he doesn't want to give her over to his brother because his brother's not going to care for her. And there's this weird sense of magic between the 2 of them, and they really believe that like they're supposed to be together. And you've got the court politics, you have on the brink of war, you have all these things. It's a trilogy. So this is the omnibus, so it's all 3 books in one. But it's a trilogy for Everin and Adara, and it is the story of the 2 of them forbidden, but yet together, wanting to be together. And in a twisted turn of fate, they do end up together, but there's a lot of betrayal that happens between then and the actual happily ever after. I really enjoyed this. I actually was delayed in Miami coming back from seeing my best friend, and I read like the first 2 books on the floor of the Miami airport, and then slept for a little bit when I got home, and then read the next book the next day. So like I literally binged this trilogy. Okay, so now we're 1, 2, 3. We've got 5 that we're gonna go through, and these are the not completed series. And then I'll tell you how far away from completion or anything like that if I know. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is, I literally just finished this a couple of days ago, so I'm still reeling from like, I couldn't slump, so like I had to start rereading another book because I just went through so much in this book. So this follows Rave. She's our main character. Love her, adore her. Her grief and her trauma is absolutely insane, the things that she has lived through and what she is still like persevering through. She is an absolute baddie assassin. You know, she's fighting for the rebellion, which we know about like page 1, so like that's not really giving anything away. And I just am so incredibly impressed by her in general, but also too like the fact that she'll still wake up every day and still fight for the things that she needs. And like there were so many moments where like I wasn't bawling, but there were just so many moments where there were so many beautiful scenes and so many beautiful moments that just had me tearing up, because it was just a testament to how strong of a character she is. And you know, like even when Prince Khan, who is who we believe to be like the love interest in this story. And he really is, because there is a whole history here that we are slowly starting to delve into and like really starting to understand. And in a world of like dragons and magic and prince brothers hating each other and, you know, like rebelling against a kingdom that doesn't care for its people, like you have these two people trying to find each other again. And it is heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. The next book, the second book in the series, does not come out until August 7th, 2025. So read at your own risk, because I thought it came out this year. So, but I might need that long to be emotionally available for this second book. But it's a beautiful story, and you know, like we get a lot of different points of view, which is also really what I loved about this. And we had a lot of information revealed to us, but I felt like the timing of it was absolutely perfect when it came to what was revealed and when it was revealed. So this is the Moonfall series. And like I did mention, there were dragons, right? Because that was, I'm still kind of understanding how the dragons fit in everything, but I really loved like the storyline. So this is the Shadows of Tenebrous series. So it starts with A Kiss of Iron. This is by Claire Sager. I absolutely love this. This is an enemies to lovers. I don't want to say like rival kingdoms, but like they do come from like two different realms essentially. And this follows Kat and Bastion, and Bastion works for the Night Queen, and Kat lives in the realm that like he's visiting. But the problem is like her no good, dirty husband left her with like all the bills and a crumbling estate, etc., etc. So she's like working herself to the bone and stealing things in order to pay off the debts that her husband is like gambling a couple of like towns away, right? So he's a piece of trash. We don't love him. We meet Bastion on a road when like we rob him, right? So then we see him in court, and we know we can't be attracted to him. Like we know that like Kat is like, she's against everything that society stands for. Like independence of women, like free thought, like taking care of yourself and not having a man take care of you. Like she is literally the exact opposite of like the women of this particular realm in this particular time, right? So this is a story of a very forbidden love between two people, and I love Bastion. Like y'all, he's a scarred hero. Like y'all can't tell me anything about this man, because he fights so hard, because he is so loyal to his kingdom and his queen, even though he knows how much he really truly cares for this woman and how much he wants to be the one who saves her and cherishes her, because she deserves those things, and he knows that she deserves those things. And I think it's beautiful, his love for her. Next up, you have the Artifacts of Aurorius, and I have Fate of the Sun Queen, and this is the third book. But it starts out with Trial of the Sun Queen, I believe. So this one it should be ending in November, so I'm all the way caught up on this one. So this follows Lore and Nadir, Prince Nadir, and I will say this series starts off hilarious, because she's literally in a prison after 12 years, like brawling over this like chick who stole her soap, but like soap's a hot commodity in this place, right? So then she ends up being like thrown in this hole, somehow ends up in the Sun Kingdom on like, not on trial, but like ends up in the Sun Queen trials, right? But there's all these really weird things happening around her, and she's always believed that like she doesn't have any magic and that she's not of any type of like special bloodline or anything like that. But the more the Sun King shows interest in her, the more she's kind of like, wait a second, do like I actually mean something more than I think I mean, or is this all like a sick joke, right? I really enjoyed it. It's kind of also too hard for me. It's a very slow burn. I want to say that right now. Like the book I'm holding in my hand, book number 3, is the first time that our two characters that are meant to be together actually are together. So you got to be like pot committed. And I'm not sitting here saying that like you have to have like really like crazy, but you have to be like bought into like the slow burn of their relationship. However, I really do think, given how the first book goes, and with her spending so much time with the Sun King in the first place, like it's the only way for the relationship to build. I really do enjoy it. This does end on a cliffhanger, so I'm very interested to see like how the series as a whole ends up, but I definitely recommend getting started on it because November is going to be right around the corner. Literally. Next up, I have, which one is this? The Kindred's Curse Saga, Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I want to asterisk this by saying the only reason why I haven't finished this series is because it's not completed, and the next book that I have to read is like close to 1,000 pages. So, pardon me. I was like, well, I'll just wait until closer to like the release of the 4th book, and then that's when I'll read it. However, this follows Diem and this follows Luther. So Diem is a healer, and she lives in the, is it the Descendants? The Descended in this book. And the Descended are people who like are without magic, without like money, like considered to be like lowest on the hierarchy within the kingdom, right? And so she's a healer, and her mom disappears, and her mom was taking care of the king. And so she is like, hey, like I can start taking care of him, blah, 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 because he's at the end of his life, but regular, like taking care of somebody is only going to help him like kind of like have like a nice end. Like at this point in time, if the magic isn't saving him, like he's going to pass at a certain point, right? And within this kingdom, like when he passes, the person who has the strongest magic is the person who ends up inheriting the throne, right? So enter Luther, Prince Luther, who has been essentially like groomed to take over the kingdom because he is the strongest magical being within the kingdom at this time, right? And the crown decides. So like when the king dies, the crown will be like, and the crown will literally like pop up on top of the person who has the strongest magic, right? So we're fighting a situation of there is a slight attraction between the two of them, but also too, she's like, I don't like y'all, like you don't care about us, like I don't care about you, like I'm gonna go join the rebellion because I think that like we shouldn't be treated like lowly people, right? So that's what we have going on here with Spark of the Everflame. I really enjoyed it. I think that you kind of have to just go into it understanding that like this is literally the shortest book that you're gonna be reading in the series. I'm assuming the 4th book's gonna be huge. Because it was supposed to release on July 31st, which is my birthday, and it didn't. So I was like, so, I mean, come on now, like it's gonna be a chunker. I'm very excited. I really am enjoying like the building of the relationship between Luther and Diem. I really did enjoy like reading the first 2 books, so I definitely recommend it. I will hold back like my final say in the series until the final book comes out and I read it though, because I mean, I could change my mind. And the last book that I would love to recommend, I read it over the summer, the Lady of Darkness series by Melissa K. Roach. So this follows Scarlet and Soren. And Scarlet was raised by the Assassin King and is put out of the Assassin's Guild because the Assassin King got frustrated with her, so she went to go live with another one of the nobles. However, the Assassin King's like, okay, like now that you've thrown your temper tantrum and I've made my point, like you need to come back home. And she's like, no. So now they're in this like really wild like battle of wills between the two of them, and she meets Soren. There's this like really massive attraction between the two of them from the very beginning, and he is a general in the king's army, and it comes down to the fact that like she's this baddie assassin and he has like a ton of secrets, and there's a Fey world, right? But humans don't enter the Fey world because like they just don't. But then what happens when they do enter the Fey world, right? And this is a 5-book series. It is completed. I have read all the way up to, I think I'm halfway through book 4, and then I got distracted. So, and I will go back and finish it because I am overall really enjoying the series. But definitely like just keep in mind that like I don't want to say too much because like even telling you who Soren is to her is an absolute spoiler. So we're gonna do there. There are my 8 Romantasy recommendations that I've read so far in 2024. There are many more, but these are the ones that like I really like decided were the ones I wanted to let you guys know that like you have to start reading as soon as possible. If you've read any of them or if any of these are your favorites, leave a comment down below and let me know which one it is. And please feel free to subscribe. I always love subscribers to my community. And as always, I will catch you in the next video. Bye.